Today's topic is data types and variables and operators which are available in Java programming. So every programming language has these topics. Why these topics have been included in every programming language? Because if you want to access any type of a data, because data types are meant for handling the data, any kind of an application, we need data to be processed. So similarly, Java applications also needs data to be processed. So to hold or to address those data and process the data, we need basic data types which are available in Java programming. So every programming has this data types topic. Now in Java, we are able to see this one also. After data types, we will be going to the topic called as variables. And after that, we will be visiting operators which are available in Java. So let us go to the topic. First one, data types. So these are the several data types which are available in Java. Actually, 8 simple types అని చెప్పారు. And you can observe here, first one, it is byte, second one is short, third one is int, fourth one is long. These are all integer part of a data type. So they can hold integer data only. These are the 4 data types which can hold integer data. So first one, it is a byte integer data type which holds only 8 bits, 8 bits of data. Second one, short, which is also an integer data type. It holds 16-bit data type. And the third one, integer. This is what most commonly we use in programming languages, that is 32-bit integer type. I think in C++ it is of 2 bytes only. But whereas in Java it is of 4 bytes of data. In C++ it is 2 bytes of data. Why 2 bytes of data? Because it supports short integer in C++. Now here it can be increased to 4 bytes, and it also contains the long integer which is of 64 bits. It means 8 bytes of data. So next data type is floating point. Floating point data type or floating data type, which contains two things. They are float and double. So float data type can be of 32-bit, that is 4 bytes of data, which is similar to integer in terms of bits. 4 bytes and 4 bytes. Integer and float are of 4 bytes of size. Similarly, double is of size 64 bits, that is 8 bytes, which is similar to long integer. The size of the double is 64 bits. 8 bytes of data will be stored into double data type. Next, we have a character data type, which can hold up to 2 bytes of 16 bits. Okay. Next, we have one more data type that is called as a Boolean, which holds the data in the form of true or false. It may represent 1 or 0, that is 1 for true or 0 for true, or 1 for false or 0 for false, according to the usage of the programmer in the programming. So I think these are the 8 data types which are simple data types, or we can say we can call them as Java primitive data types also. Primitive are nothing but basic data types on which we are supposed to write the programming, most of the programming. Next, we are individually checking all the bytes, that is data types. First one is byte 8-bit integer type. It is ranging from -128 to 127. So particularly it can be used when working with the data streams. So working with the data streams is nothing but when you are accessing a streams data type, that is input output streams, then this type of a data is used. In upcoming classes, you are able to access files in which you need streams, so that we can connect to different resources through which we can carry data from one resource to the other resource. So for that purpose, we need streams. So at that time, we will be using this type of a data type, that is byte data type, which is of 8-bit size. Next, short integer, which is well known for us, which is normally used in a C, C++, and even in Java also. Basic data type, simple data type. It is ranging from 30 to minus 32,768 to 32,767. Next, we have a 4-byte integer, that is 32 bits, which are used for programming and controlling. So it has been the advanced version, because in this type of data, we can store more than 2 bytes of data. And it is majorly used for controlling the loops and arrays. And it can be used in terms of solving the expressions also. So most of the calculations, if you need more number of data to be holding, then this type of data type is used, that is integer based data type. Next, long integer, if you want more number of data in terms of integers, huge number of values, then you can use for long. Next one, that is floating point number. You know, floating point, it has a fractional part, and it is used for holding the precisions, six precisions, that is after decimal point you can carry up to 6 digits. Next, double data type, which is used for holding the floating point of data, similar to float, but it is of 8 bytes of size, and it can hold the values up to 8 digits after decimal point. And the accuracy is maintained, because the values accuracy will be maintained by using this double data type for the large values which have been used. Next, we have a character. Everyone knows these are the special characters. This is a special type of a data type which can hold characters, and it can hold the ASCII values, Unicode characters, symbols. So it is ranging from 0 to 65,356 number of characters, which is of 2 byte size. Next, we have a Boolean type data type. It contains two values, either 1 or 0, either true or false. So this is it is used for majorly used for relational operators and branching conditions. So based on the condition, if it is false or true, based on that condition, you are supposed to execute the remaining statements. So it is well established programming. If you write a well established programming by a switch context, switch, you have a switch control statement. If you are using a switch control statement, then it contains a true or false for values. Based on those values, you are supposed to access group of statements. Next, we have variables. Next important topic. So variables, what do you mean by variables? Variables are nothing but which are not constant. They they are always varying. They all will vary. It means it is not constant value. It keeps on varying. So what happens in Java with the variables? So if you want to use variables, first of all, you have to declare a variable. After that, initialize a variable. And based on the variable, different topics will be rising. That is the scope of the variable, lifetime of the variable, how this variable is converted, and how we are converting to higher to lower. So this is what comes to the point. That is, first, to use a variable, first we need to declare it. Next, we need to initialize it. Next, the scope of the variable is nothing but the lifetime of the variable until which within the scope. Let us say that if you are using a variable within the function int a, Let me write this. It means the scope of this variable will last until this closed flower brace. That's it. It cannot be accessed beyond this method. If it is a method, if you are declaring a variable inside that one, so it can be accessed within this method. We cannot access this variable outside of that method. That is what the scope. And the lifetime is also the closed flower brace. That's it. Next, type conversion. So Java uses automatic type conversion technology so that it can be converted automatically to one type of a data to the other type of a data. And one more, we have a topic called typecasting. Typecasting is nothing but manual conversion of the type. So this is a part of the programmer to handle. But Java also contains automatic type conversion, even though there is a situations that programmer has to cast typecast. That is, you have to change that one data type to the other data type. So next, the type of the variable will be expanded. That is called as a type promotion. Next, Java uses variables to store data. And next, it allocates memory space for the variables which JVM requires. So to specify the data type of a variable, that is what, whenever you want to allocate a memory to the variable, first we need to specify the data type of the variable, then the name of the variable, then the initial value which has been supplied to it. That is initialization, we say, the value which is supplied to that variable. So JVM requires the following things for allocating a memory to a variable. First one, data type should be there. Next, name of the variable should be there, and the value of that variable also there. It is optional. If you can initialize a value at the declaration part only, there is no problem. If you are not supposed to initialize a value at the declaration point, you can hold it on. See, students, I think it is less than 10 minutes. So after completing the class, after closing the session also, you join for 5 minutes so that we can complete the topic. Okay, next I will continue this. This is art part of the variable declaration. These three things are possible when you are declaring a variable. Next, how we are declaring a variable. So data type, identifier, followed by a value. Data type must be a simple data type, user defined data type, that is of class type. Now what is user defined data type, we will be discussing later. Next, identifier is nothing but a recognizable name conform to identifier rules. That is, it is nothing but a person named as some XYZ. You are calling that person as XYZ. So XYZ is a name which is given to that person. Similarly, a value is there, 10. You want to know the value of that one. So that is, you want to represent that 10 value. You are giving some name to it. That is A, B, C or XYZ. X equals to 10. So it should be a simple data type. That is, data type is nothing but integer, float, char, double, any kind of a data type. So value is an optional at the initial value. You may declare, you may initialize a value, or you may not initialize the value. You just declare the variable and you can proceed with the programming. Or else you declare the variable, you can initialize the value also. So this is part of the declaration of variable. So these are the some of the types of declaring. That is, first one is int a comma b comma c followed by a semicolon. You can declare the variables like that, or else you can declare the second type of declaration is int d equals to 3 followed by e followed by f equal to 5. You can also do that one. Then byte g equals to 22. You can do that one. Double pi equal to 3.1414159. You can do that. regarding characters also. That is at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration, you are able to initialize itself. In C++ or C language, in C language, especially in C language, you have to declare it first, then initialize it. But here, declaration and initializations are done at the time of declaration itself. This is called as a dynamic initialization, dynamic nature of the Java programming. Next, the scope of the variable. Scope determines the visibility of the program elements with respect to the other program elements. That is how there are two programs. Let us say that there are two sample codes are there. The first sample code is visiting the second program. That is, it is able to see the second program variables and values from outside. It cannot go inside it. To access from outside, what they have to do? It will be thinking like that. So in Java, scope is defined as separately for classes and methods. Variables defined by a class have a global scope. You try to understand this one. Variables defined by a class have a global scope. Variables defined by a method have a local scope. As I said in the previous example, that is, this is method part. If you are declaring as part of the class, it has a global scope. It means whatever methods which are part of that class, they can use that variable throughout the program. Let me show you the example here. I think everyone is able to see this. See, you try to understand this, the scope concept. Now, this is part of local scope because we are using this variable within the method called as a sub. Similarly, add is a method which contains a variable a, which is of local scope. But you observe here, we are defining a variable under class scope. Class, under class, we are declaring this one. It means that this variable can be accessed by these methods throughout the program. How many methods are available in this class? All those methods will be accessing this variable. It means that it is global. But whereas X variable and A variable cannot be accessed by the methods or other methods, cannot be accessed by the other methods because they are of local scope. This is about local and global scope. A scope is defined by a block, open flower brace and closed flower brace. Similarly, a variable declared inside the scope is not visible outside. As I said, int n equals to 1. This is illegal because it is coming outside of the scope. That is int n. What is trying to do here? N equals to 1, initializing the value outside of the scope. This is illegal, as we said. Next, lifetime. Variables are created when their scope is entered by the control flow and destroyed when their scope is left. It means that the variable's lifetime will be starting whenever the scope has been started from the flower brace. Okay, from the flower base, it has been, the life of the variable has been started and the life of the variable has been ended by the close of flower brace. So this is what happens with the scope of the variable lifetime. Now, variable declared in a method will not hold its value between the invocations of this method. You try to understand this point. A variable which is declared inside the method which contains a value that will not be copied onto the next method which has been invoking that one. It means that method contains a variable and a value. See, let us see x equals to 10. So if you want to print x here somewhere else outside of this method, what happens here is you cannot view this value outside of this scope. That is what it is discussed here. Now, variable declared in a block loses its value when the block is left. As I said, variable declared in a block loses its value when the block is left. So what happens here is within the block, it is a king. Outside of the block, it cannot be accessed as a king. Next, initialized in a block, a variable will be reinitialized with every re-entry. So variable lifetime is confined to its scope. So every time a variable is created, a new memory is created, a new value will be supplied, not the same value. I will discuss this in the programming part also. What happens with the variable lifetime? I think most of them know the storage classes in C++, I think so. Next, we have operators types. So these are the linked. You try to understand. First, we discussed what are the data types, next variables, next operators. So data types are needed for holding memories, to allocate memory. So for which we are trying to allocate memory? For the variables which are supposed to be processed in the programming, they need some memory. For that memory, we are using data types. So based on variables, what we are supposed to do? We are trying to operate them. So variables are supposed to be operated. So through which we are trying to operate operators. Operators are responsible for operating between different types of variables. So Java operators are used in building different types of expressions. Expressions are nothing but combination of operands and operators. So Java contains, these are the several operator types which are available here. They are assignment operators, arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, unary operators. So these are the several operators which are part of the Java. Along with these operators, there are certain other operators also available according to the requirement of the programmers. We will be discussing that also. First, we'll see, almost all arithmetic and assignment operators you can see here. This is a shortcut for using this kind of an expression. Almost everyone knows this one, I think so. Arithmetic combination with assignment operators. Arithmetic are nothing but addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, percentiles. So assignment operator is nothing but assigning a value to a variable. This is what assignment operator which is used here. Next we have these things, that is add, subtract, multiply, division, remainder. These are the arithmetic related operators. Next, relational operators. These are nothing but comparing two operands. If you want to compare two operands, these are the operators which are used for accessing them. So this is equals to, not equals to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Next, logical operators, you can see here, logical and, logical or, logical, that is circuit and, circuit or, logical not, logical XOR. So these are the several logical operators. It depends upon the two statements. See, logically, both statements has to be here. Two statements or two conclusions have been made here. Two results will be calculated here. Next, bitwise operators. This type of operators are used on bits. So single bit or more than number of bits, it depends upon the programming strategy. So this is a bitwise not operator. It will be reversing all the zeros into ones and zeros. So this is what, if it are both operands here, both bits are 1, then the output is 1. If both bits, any one of the bits is 1, then the output is 1 according to this bitwise OR. Next, bitwise AND operator, that is multiplication operator. If exactly one operand is 1, then it is remaining 1. Then this is a right shift operator, right bits. This operator is this one operated. It is shifted by bits. Second OP2. OP2 is nothing but the second operand. That is a value. How many bits should be shifted to the right? That will be decided by this operator in this value. I will be showing the examples also, don't worry. Next, this is left shift operator. Similarly to the right shift operator, now it is shifting left. I think it is less than 1 minute. So these are the other operators which are introduced into the Java programming. That is ternary operator or conditional operator or member operator, instance of operator, new operator, cast operator. So these are the several operators which have been included in Java also. So ternary operator or conditional operator is nothing but based on the condition we are given with the two values. That is something like this.